this, I thought, well, I could talk about art, and I've done art all my life. My mom's a painter, and I was always immersed in it. But I was like, well, I could talk about something else that has really affected me, which is music. And I have no talent for music at all, but I really like it. And so I started a flow chart of like where the beginnings of my musical taste and where they came from. And as you can see, it got really messy, really quick. And so I was like, okay, so how am I going to talk about this and not have it be completely random and everywhere? But I am random and everywhere, so we'll just see how this goes. One of my earliest memories of like listening to music was listening to them on record player, and having them around, and my parents' records. And so obviously we didn't have anything as fancy as this, but I thought it was a cool picture. I made this slide. This is my mom's influence and the music that I personally like associate with my mom and what she was listening to when I was growing up. And I didn't listen to the radio a lot when I was little, but we listened to the records. And so like my mom was really into the Beatles and Buddy Holly, and this is my dad's slide, and he has this love for Janis Joplin, and that is something that I remember from him. So I associate music now with people and different times of my life and how I've kind of evolved and how I've been affected by these people. This I blame on my sister Carissa. This is what I remember from the 80s. You pull up the soundtrack for Flashdance, I can probably sing just about every word to every song in the entire album, and that's her fault. And this is a picture of me. I'm the little one in the middle, and my two sisters. And actually, I believe we were dancing to the soundtrack to either Footloose or Flashdance at this time. And so I went through our pictures, and I remember this fairly vividly, just kind of running in circles. Something else that has affected my musical taste is old movies, and just watching like the old musicals, which singing and dancing, and how it was always just kind of combined, and you kind of get out in real life and realize, oh, people don't actually burst into song spontaneously and start dancing around. How sad. That's actually really sad. These are some other images, like listening to old like Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Louis Prima, and Keely Smith. Like I remember listening to them, and my sister Chelsea was very as a teenager, loved that. This is the first cassette that I ever purchased. I think I was 12, 13, somewhere around there. This was my first foray into the music that was going on at that time. This was the first CD I ever purchased. So I kind of evolved in like a year and a half, 2 year space of time. I still listen to Ace of Base, so I still really enjoy it. I wanted red boots, too, and it was Dolores O'Riordan's fault. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. So, then my parents, when I don't know, I was like 15, my parents got a dish. And I was suddenly exposed to MTV, which I had never seen anything like this. I was homeschooled, middle of nowhere, Idaho. So I started, how I viewed music and how it was brought to me was changed, because the radio stations out there sucked, so you didn't really see it. So watching music videos on MTV and watching how it was just exposed, it just changed how I viewed things, and it became a visual art to me as well as something that I listened to. And like I loved Jewel. I thought I was going to have a guitar, and I was going to write songs and have a band, and this was kind of a period in my life when I was like 16, 17, and my sister and my friends and we were going to have a band, and that's what we were going to do. And yeah, I don't have any musical talent. I still have my guitar. I can't tune it. I have an electronic tuner. This would be like college, being exposed to a college radio station where they don't have a format, they can play whatever they want. And also, like there's a picture of me there in the middle, stuck in architecture studio. You start listening to other people's music because you're there all the time. You get so bored with everything you have. And then, the iPod. It changes how you listen to stuff, and you're like, I want to be that cool person who has this little MP3 player, and I can listen to it wherever I want. And also iTunes, and being able to listen to shared iTunes, and in Architecture Studio, that changed it. I've been, especially moving over here, I've lived here almost 3 years. I've been to a lot of concerts since I've lived here, and listening to music live is completely different than having listened to the radio or to CDs or albums. And I found that there are artists that I like live, but I don't necessarily like listening to their CDs, but it's changed it. And then I did this slide, just like I have the Wonder Woman on the side, and because the lyrics are, like, I just love the lyrics and how they can affect you, or how they can describe a certain time of your life at that time. And this is me. This is a painting that I did, and I wrote all over it because while I have no musical talent, I found an outlet for it, and so I write on canvases and then I paint over them. So you can kind of read some of the stuff that's going on, but kind of not. And then I just have saved some of the embarrassment of actually having it out there and having you read it. This is my iTunes right now. This is where the obsession can lead. This is just at the A's, and you can see I still have quite a bit of Ace of Base. It's still there. And but what does it say? I've got like 99 days of music. Great.